Hey folks, how you doing? I'm Ross Minton, this is Grow Your Own Life. Please like and subscribe my channel, that would be awesome. But I thought I'd have a quick conversation to all you newbie allotmenteers. I imagine a lot of people are probably just getting allotments. They've probably got their names down on waiting list. They're probably going to get allotments over the course of the next 12 months. So I thought I'd give you a really quick how-to guide for allotments. So here goes. First things first, when you get your allotment, you're probably going to get it from a private company. You probably get it from a council. It might be council run, it might be committee run. But the best thing you can do is whenever you get a chance to get an allotment, don't be too picky, because obviously waiting lists can be long. I've seen a lot of people out there that say oh, I've been offered an allotment and it's got this, it's got that, it's got the other, or it hasn't got a shed, or it hasn't got this. And don't worry about it. Allotment, if you drop lucky, you might get an allotment that's ready to go, because the previous tenant has been an awesome allotmenteer. They've done loads and loads of work, and then for whatever reason they've had to give it up. And then if you get an allotment like that, then obviously you bite people's hands off. Most of us, when we get allotments, they're a bit of a state. They're normally, we get them because the previous people haven't looked after them. They've had allotment, realise it's too much work, or there's too much time, and they've just done nothing to it. So the chances are that you're probably going to get an allotment for it with at least 12 months, 2 years worth of weeds growing on it. So, but don't worry about that, okay? It's like when they say when you go and buy a house, you're not buying a house for the decoration, you're buying it for the bricks and mortar. You're not renting an allotment because of what it looks like now. You're renting it because of what you want to do with it, and you want to put your own stamp on it. So if it's full of weeds and brambles, don't worry, okay? And most allotments, even if it's full of rubbish, the council or the committee, obviously they have a duty to help you get rid of other people's rubbish. So again, you just negotiate with them and say, yeah, I'll have the allotment, but please can you get me a skip to get rid of the rubbish? And most of them will go, yeah, brilliant. Secondly, once you've got your allotment and you start on it, the best thing you can do is to get cracking on it straight away. And not because there's any kind of time sensitive issues. You need to get things in the ground, you need to start sowing. Mainly, you want to show your face down the allotment. Because the chances are that the allotment you've inherited has been neglected, and your neighbours either side are probably a little bit miffed because they've had to put up with a year's worth of weeds. And in my case, when I had an allotment next to me, I spent 2 years cutting somebody else's grass. So, right, until eventually I was able to acquire that allotment, and it was and me and my partner now have it. And the chances are that you're going to have the same situation. But most allotment people are great. They'll see new people come on their site and they'll be like, awesome, we're finally getting someone to take over. But if you get the keys on the 1st of June and no one sees you down the allotment until mid-September, people will start to think, oh, we've got another one. We've got someone that thinks it's really easy, that they're just going to turn up once a month, do a bit, we're going to get the weeds, this, that and the other. Okay, and so just get down there. Even if you just get down there with a strimmer, start strimming, start covering things up with tarpaulin, which I'll go on to in a bit later. Just get yourself down there, say hello to people, start talking, say to people that you plan on getting it going, you want to grow, tell them what you want to do, cut flowers, grow veg, why you want the allotment. Just talk to folks, and start to feel people out, and you'll soon realize that there's the people down the allotment that probably give you a hand, give you advice, and there's probably people down the allotment that you want to stay clear of, because no matter what you do, you're never going to be able to please them. Okay, so just get down your allotment ASAP, right, and just do something. Take the kids down there, take yourself a disposable barbecue, have the day down there weeding and enjoying yourself and having a barbecue and this, that and the other, and before you know it, your allotment will look half decent. Probably the biggest downside with allotments is when people have a plot and they basically let it go. A lot of people, and I'm not knocking these people, because it looks amazing when you watch River Cottage, when you watch all these TV programs and see people growing their own vegetables, it looks awesome, and you're like, that's dead simple. So, and people go, wow, well, all I got to do is throw seeds at dirt, I grow free food, job done, and I can pop down there once or twice a month, and I can just pick bags full of food. Doesn't work like that. It really doesn't work like that at all. I mean, in some respects I'm lucky because of my chickens, because I get to go down my allotment a lot, because I need to go down to feed them, so I always do a bit. But if you haven't got any livestock down there, it's really easy to get into the habit of, oh, not this week, I'll go fishing, or I'll go and play golf, or you know, well, we're going to go away with the family this weekend and we're going to do this, that and the other. And if you've got a full-time job, then, you know, it's really hard. You work Monday to Friday, 9 till 5. You don't want to do much in the evenings. It could be raining, it could be whatever. And the weekend comes around and you think, oh, we'll go away with the kids. Well, then that's a week you haven't been down your allotment. And then the same thing happens the following week. You got a wedding, you got this, that and the other. And the next thing you know, it's 2 weeks and you haven't been down your allotment. And then it's 3 weeks and then the family holiday. And before you know it, it's been 3, 4, 5 months since you've been down your allotment. And the weeds are massive. But the thing is with that, you can't see them because you aren't going down there, so you don't think there's a problem. But what you don't realise is that all your neighbours are pulling their hair out because they're watching dandelions grow, go to seed and go poof, and all the seeds just blow onto their site. So indirectly, you've probably, you know, annoyed a lot of people. And I genuinely like to think of the good in people, and I just think people don't realise this. They probably think, well, I'm not hurting anyone, this, that and the other. I know I'm not doing it, but you know, I'll do it next summer, I'll do it next spring. You are genuinely affecting other people's allotments. That's what happens. And like I said, I know most people probably don't think like that, but that's what happens. And then the weeds spread, and then next thing you know, your neighbours are cutting down your allotment because they don't want those weed seeds to spread any further. Because if you've spent 2-3 years like I have trying to get rid of as many weeds as possible, you don't want a load of dandelion seeds just going all over your nice barked path, because you know that next spring they're all going to pop up and you're going to be pulling out 1 million dandelions. So what I say to people is you want to be putting in probably 2.5 to 3.5 hours of work down your allotment a week, okay? And that might not seem like a lot. You think, well, I've got that, you know, easily, okay? But that's every week. And I mean, that's every week, January, February, March, all the way through the winter. You don't have to do it like that, but just because you're not going down the site doesn't mean that your allotment things aren't still growing. You might decide that you're not going to go down all through December, okay? So then all of a sudden there's 10 hours worth of work that you haven't done in December. So then obviously that needs to be put into January. So think of it as 10 hours a month that you want to be putting into your allotment, and that's bare minimum. So if you don't go in December, you've got to make sure that then you put 20 hours in January. If you don't go in December, January, February, then you've got 30 hours worth of work to do on that allotment for March, okay? And it will soon build up, because all of a sudden, you know, you'll have left your plot for November, December, January, February, March, April, you know, and then you think, oh, garden centres are starting to get full of plants and this, that and the other, so I really need to get down there and do stuff. Then all of a sudden, you know, you've got something like 50, 60 hours worth of work to do on your allotment just to get it ready. And that's probably the best equation, the best way of looking at things. So if you can't give that 2.5 hours a week, about 10 hours a month down to your allotment, seriously, really consider it. Really consider whether, you know, you've got the time for an allotment. Although it's an amazing hobby, and I really love, you know, I really love my allotment, they're not for everybody. And some people can't make that adjustment from growing in their garden where they have access all the time. You know, they can get up in the morning, make a cup of coffee, walk into their garden and grow and weed and this, that and the other. You've got to make, you know, an effort to get up, leave the house, go to your allotment. And in some cities, I know, like people in London, you know, that could be a half-hour train journey. You know, that could be something where, you know, it's not simple just to, oh, I'm going to go to the allotment today, or I'm going to go to the allotment after work. So really think about that. Really think about the effort that you have, the time and effort you need to put in to have an allotment. And the good way, if you've just got a site, if you've just got a plot, and you're thinking, what can I do? Pop yourself on eBay, get a load of tarpaulin, trim it, cover the absolute lot in tarpaulin, and then do a little bit at a time. Roll the tarp back and weed a bit, do a bit. You know, once that's done, roll the tarp back, weed a bit, and everyone on your site will see that you're making an effort, because they will look at your site and think, oh wow, they've done one bed this month, and then next month they'll go, well, they've done a bit more, and they've done a bit more, and that will buy you time, because people then won't obviously complain about weeds and this, that and the other, because they'll say, oh, Dave from plot number 33, he's done a really good job. He's put 2 beds in already, and there's no weeds and this and the other. He's got his shed up, he's done this, blah blah blah. And it'd be like, oh, we've got a good allotment here, we've got someone who's trying. If it's a plot where nothing has happened for 3-4 months, I guarantee you that people will start talking, and all of a sudden it'll be, well, Dave from number 33, I haven't seen him for 3 months. Have you seen anything? No, nothing's happened. Oh, well, yeah, we need to, he's going to have a load of weeds in a month's time, blah, blah, blah. And then they won't see you again for another month. And the thing is, you don't always see people on the allotment, you know, because obviously we come and go when we want. Sometimes I can come down here at 7 o'clock at night. Sometimes I can come down here at 7 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes I'll see some of my friends 2 or 3 times a week. Sometimes I won't see them for 4 weeks because everyone does different things. But if they can see something's happening on your plot, people just forget about it. Oh well, that's the thing. But if they see nothing is happening on your plot, that's when people start to talk, and obviously that's when you got a chance that the council or the committee might, you know, eventually take your plot off you, and they might say to you, well, actually nothing's happening here. And everybody grows differently. It doesn't matter whether you're organic, whether you're not, whether you buy things, whether you recycle. Everyone does things differently. So it's not about your allotment looking like neat and tidy and pristine like a garden centre. It's just about your allotment looking like stuff is actually going on. You know, things are being built, beds are being dug, weeds are being covered or cut, and that kind of thing. Getting onto the subject of everyone allotmenting differently. Again, don't feel like you need to go out there and buy an absolute fortune, you know, a brand new shed, all new tools, whatever, for your allotment just because your neighbours have got it. But on the same token, if like me, your neighbour is a recycle nut and everything looks a bit wacky and crazy, okay, don't feel that you've got to do that. You know, everybody allotmenteers in their own way. If you want to go out to a garden centre and you want to spend £1,000 on all nice new stuff and make it look like a little cottage garden or this, that and the other, then crack on, do it, okay? Me personally, that's not what allotments are about, but who's to say how you should have your allotment? And in the same token, is if you're like me and you want to use old pop bottles and you want to use secondhand sheds and greenhouses and turn bathtubs into ponds and this, that and the other, then again, as long as those things are not in your rules as things you can't do, then crack on and do it. To me, that's the whole point of allotment, is we're all different. Some of us want to grow cut flowers. I don't know, maybe you love cut flowers and they cost you an absolute fortune down the market. So you might decide that I'm going to have allotment, I'm going to grow loads of cut flowers. Don't want to grow any vegetables, but that means all summer I can have the best bouquet going of cut flowers. Some people might decide that what I really want is an orchard because I love fruit, so I want raspberry bushes, gooseberry bushes, apple trees, pear trees, plum trees, and I'm going to bark the rest, have a nice picnic table. I can go down there, I can have a lovely little barbecue, and I can enjoy my orchard. And then other people might be more traditionalists and decide that actually I just want an allotment full of vegetables and I want to grow kale and potatoes and all those kind of things. Whatever you do, as long as it's within the rules of the site you're on, do it. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. Unless obviously you decide that you want to be a person that grows loads and loads of weeds, and then I imagine that people probably will complain. But other than that, you do whatever makes you happy down your allotment. So, to all you beginners out there, and to anyone who's getting an allotment in the next few weeks, months, whenever, enjoy it. I've been Ross Minton. This is Grow Your Own Life. Please like and subscribe.